Print out the internet? Yes, ma'am. This is about a decade ago, but still well within the realm of the internet. I was a technical writer for the government and had slowly been transferring our old employee handbook, think government bureaucracy from the 1940s, into a modern and actually useful doc. Think one page with our policies and links to useful websites, like Office of Personnel Management, forms for workman's comp, etc. My boss wanted the whole thing printed out on her desk the next morning. This was Monday of the Thanksgiving weekend. I printed out the 200 or so pages and just had the links to the various websites in bold. This took about an hour, and I left it on her desk before going home that night. She calls me in her office on Tuesday afternoon and proceeds to yell at me at how stupid I am. Do I think people can just go to a website when it is on paper? No. I need to print everything out. I calmly tell her that these sites are pretty dense and deepened it would be about 10,000 pages. She says she does not care. It needs to be on her desk, damn it, first thing Monday morning. Mind you, this is now Tuesday and we usually had some of Wednesday off. I was not really planning to work Thursday, Thanksgiving or Friday, as I had applied for leave and was looking forward to a nice relaxing long weekend. I don't have family, but I had plans. Boutok. I asked for, and got the request to have, everything pertaining to the employee handbook online in a printed format. I also had real work and real deadlines. A quick bit of context: she was my boss, she did my performance appraisals, and she could make my life miserable and possibly fire me. However, my clients were teams that put together engineering plans, biological assessments, scientific journal articles, reports to Congress, etc. that had real-world deadlines. On some of these, if you missed the publication date, your agency paid $100 a day in delay fees. Or you would ISS off a congressperson, which is never a good idea. Andy was really getting sick and tired of my boss's requests that took me away from my actual work. So I was printing and printing all the rest of Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday. I had to go to the site, print, click on the next link, print, etc. On Wednesday, we got a letter from a Congress critter that was actually important. Had we not gotten that, I might not have it on what I did. I got overtime approved pronto to take care of this request. So I did work Thanksgiving. As I was doing that, I kept on printing and printing. I used up every sheet of paper in our 14-story building. I kept on researching the response for the congressional printing, going to the next floor to carefully get that packet of paper to tuck under the appropriate page, etc. I had paper in about 20 different conference rooms. I could have done the congressional in about 8 hours. But it was not due until Monday. And all of this printing took me a good 24 hours of work. So eep it in for 32 hours, Thursday, Fri, Sat, and Sun. Got it done. This is now 2 stacks of paper, each about 6 feet high. I was way under in my estimate of 10,000 pages, as it was more like about 30,000. Remember, I had at least 5 printers going at once for 4 days, etc. I put this in my boss's office, which was already none too clean and pristine. I got written up, with a disciplinary hearing and everything. The charge was malicious compliance. I kept my job only because I did have a request in an email. Do your job. Okay, Karen. I originally posted this in Fuck You Karen, but someone seemed to imply it'd be a good fit for you guys. So enjoy this lovely exchange from Monday. So, I work in online fulfillment at a large home, garden, and building supply store. Mysterious. My job title comes into play later, as technically we aren't supposed to work with customers directly, just point them in the right direction or find another associate who works in that department. I had a massive order to grab, several heavy and large pieces of sheet metal and screws. Problem is, the sheet metal size I need isn't where it's meant to be, so I'm having to scan pretty much everything to figure out what's what. Bigger problem? This lingering in the wild sadly put me in range of a Wild Karen attack. Wild Karen, raging harpy voice, are you gonna help me or not? Yours truly, suddenly very confused, looking at her, especially as she hasn't spoken to me at all. Wild Karen, increasingly annoyed, seeming well. I've been standing over there for EVR and you haven't offered to help me. Yours truly, my bad. I can try? I don't work in this department, so it depends if. Wild Karen, suddenly actively hostile. Try? Oh. No, you will. It doesn't matter if you work in this department or not. Yours truly, taking calming breaths so I don't lash back, wondering what this woman's problem is. Okay, what do you need? Definitely unable to control annoyance in my tone as this woman is yelling at me. Wild Karen, this Not joking when I say proceeds to suddenly pull out a screw and nearly stab me in the eye, shoving it towards me. Yours truly pushes her hand away, feeling much less calm as I have a PTSD reaction to people putting hands in my face, much less a feckin' screw. Now visibly shaking. Okay, ma'am, screws are at the end of this aisle, on the left. What? Wild Karen. I already know that. Yours angrily. Okay, what size is that? What size do you need? Wild Karen. Even angrier for some reason. UTELLME. Takes a step closer as if trying to seem threatening. Yours angrily. Unable to hold back. I have no clue, ma'am. There's an entire wall of screws. It's impossible for me to tell its size by just looking at it. Wild Karen. You will not come at me like that. Says me like she's royal and I should feel afraid. Your manager would not like that. Yours no longer giving a fuckly. Ya think? Well, I can get a manager if you'd like. Maybe one of them can identify the screw by sight. Wild Karen. Don't make me mad today. Just do your job. Q. What could count as malicious compliance? Yours fecking over this ciently. Realizes I had already told her exactly where the product she needed would be located. Yes, ma'am. I walked away from her to my trolley and proceeded to continue looking for the items on my order. Wild Karen. What are you doing? Yours freely. My job. What was funny was, an aisle over, one of our assistant managers actually was nearby. With Karen ranting and stomping like a toddler, I walked over when I noticed him and told him I had 2 issues. 1. Can't find the item. 2. Got Karen he may want to talk to. He laughed and showed me where the correct size sheet metal improperly was, and totally ignored her, same as I was, until she huffed loudly and stormed away. I don't think she liked that my manager did like how I handled the situation. Don't use your garbage can? Okay. You can see where this is going. A long time ago, back in high school, I was a bit of a smart aleck. One morning, I was walking to school, drinking from a juice box. As I finished, I realized I was walking through a nice residential neighborhood and there were no public trash bins around. However, it must have been this neighborhood's pickup day, as everyone had wheeled their bins out to the sidewalk in front of their house. I'll just put my juice box in the nearest bin, I thought. But it was not to be. As soon as I opened the nearest lid, I heard a pounding on the main window of the immaculately maintained house in front of me. I looked up, and a very middle-aged man was shouting through the window at me, gesticulating wildly. His flailing and beet red face read spectacularly clear through the window. It was his garbage bin, not mine, and I had no right to use it. I looked at him, trying not to chuckle. You don't want me to use your beautiful bin for my own refuse? Pardon me. I pantomimed, and staring at them with a huge grin breaking through Amic penitential visage, I pitched the juice box onto his precious, flawless lawn. As his eyes widened to the size of saucers, I hightailed it out of the neighborhood, laughing all the way. Edit. I need to clarify a few things since some people have different garbage rules than I do. Firstly, this was the early 90s. There wasn't any recycling other than paper in town, and the very clean on the outside juice box was lined with a non-recyclable material anyway. Secondly, the garbage had not been picked up yet, there was plenty of room in the can, and all garbage was collected mechanically by big trucks, and it was a cool spring morning. No danger of any fouling up of a garbage can, etc. Also, the garbage company owned the cans. Thirdly, I was a teenager. Some of you have called me in a hole and lazy for not wanting to carry an empty juice box to the nearest trash can, which was over a mile away. To that I say, you obviously have no idea what teenagers in the 90s were like. Of course I was lazy, and of course I was in a hole. I might still be both of those things, but if you're calling me names now for something I did 30 years ago, that says more about you than it does me. Want me to tell you what I know about Pabst? Can do. There's a sardonic joke that women wearing memorabilia like band t-shirts are subject to questions like, oh, you like Led Zeppelin? Tell me John Paul Jones' birthday. It's obnoxious gatekeeping and very condescending, which takes us to our scene, Milwaukee, 2013, your typical bar. I went to the bar to order, placing me next to a guy who looked to be in his late 40s. I was a 22-year-old woman wearing a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer t-shirt. He sighed and said, kind of half directed at me, half just into the universe, oh great, another hipster girl wearing a PBR shirt. I mean, I like PBR, him, right? Tell me what you even know about Pabst. I know that in 1844, Jacob Best started a brewery called the Empire Brewery on Chestnut Street, which was taken over by his son Philip Best and renamed the Philip Best Brewing Company, and that Philip's daughter Maria married a steamboat captain, Captain Frederick Pabst, the eventual namesake of the brewery. If you want to hear more, come to Best Place at the Pabst Brewery. The former corporate offices for Pabst. We do a Pabst history tour there. I'm one of the tour guides. He just looked annoyed as I paid for my drink and walked off. It's a modest tale of malicious compliance, simply answering the question asked, but it was so satisfying.